Welcome to Hypnosis by Design. I'm your host, Dani Vann. I help professionals who love human design navigate the deconditioning process so they can design their reality and create success in all areas of life. If that sounds like you, welcome, reality designer, to the world of hypnosis and human design. And we are going to discuss the power of hypnosis and human design to align your mind and body for success. I'm your navigator. I have been a professional linguist since 1996. And since 2008, I have been a certified hypnotist and neurolinguistic programming specialist. And around 2001, I was diagnosed with a very fast spreading form of cancer. And I said no to traditional treatment, chemotherapy and or radiation or both, and being injected with radioactive dye and all that stuff. I said no to that. So if you're into human design, I'm a 5/1 emotional manifester. And the heretic popped out real quick right there, didn't she? But I didn't know about human design and until about 2016 is when I started studying my own and then the people around me, my husband, my two sons, my brother, and it kind of moved out from there. And then I started taking certifying courses in human design. And I'm like, hypnosis and human design. Wow. And this power of hypnosis and human design combined together and how they can create you can basically become the designer of your reality when we understand our own blueprint, what is conditioned, what is not conditioned, what is defined, what is not defined, what is going on within our own energy structure and our own energy blueprint. When you understand your own, you begin to understand the others around you. And this is a really powerful healing space to be. And it's very much needed. And I love that human design really talks about this deconditioning process in order to integrate your blueprint and discover your purpose. And so, as your navigator, I want to let you know that I am, first off, not a therapist. I am a hypnotist and a professional linguist, and my specialty is nonverbal communication. And just last month in April 2024, I presented an abstract to the University of Arizona. And my abstract thesis is the subconscious has its own linguistic process separate from our acquired conscious and unconscious linguistic thought. So it's been here before we acquired language. And with combining Dr. Upledger and Dr. Gary Flint and um, other thought, uh, modern thought and ancient thought as well, combining these together because hypnosis has been around for a long, long time. And basically how it works is it's through words connecting with the nervous system, bypassing the gatekeepers of the mind. And so we see hypnosis all around us. And we'll get into, some of the misconceptions about what hypnosis is and the myths out there about, being taken over and all this stuff. And people will come to me and say, Danny, I don't want to do the hypnosis part. I don't want to go into trance. And I'll say, oh, okay. Can I know why? And they'll say, well, my pastor, my priest, my religious leader said that it's against the Bible. And I said, oh, did they give you a verse? And so the verse they give will usually talk about opening yourself up to demonic possession, right? So, um, This is not hypnosis. If we look at what the pastor, the religious leader is doing, they're actually using hypnosis. And we can look and see what marketing is doing. So, what it does is it draws your attention off your authenticity, off your purpose, onto a belief or an idea. So, you grab onto that thing as if it's real. So, then it becomes a part of our blueprint, and this is conditioned. So now you're conditioned to believe in a certain way. So, in order to decondition that, we have to incorporate what you already know through conscious and unconscious thought. And so we use neurolinguistic programming to bring up those triggers and integrate the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of those based on your blueprint. And some say, I do believe it was Ra that says it is a 7-year process. So it does take all of our cells 7 years to completely transform and be completely different. But with this process, this 4-step process, we can do so much work in a short period of time without even being consciously aware of. And so these techniques can help people unlock their full potential. And this process, this hypnosis and human design, hypnosis by design, it is self directed, and it's a 4-step program that aims to help professionals, individuals overcome various personal challenges and achieve their goals. And I'm a walking example of this. So in 2001, being diagnosed with cancer, and now looking back, being a 5-1 manifester, it's like, duh, the heretic came out, right? So I say no to the doctors, and they tell me in a not so kind way, you're going to be dead in 2 years. So in 2008, I passed the deadline, 2001 to 2008, about 7 years. Oh, 7 years. So I went through this process, took about 7 years. I learned everything I can about energy, about hypnosis, about neurolinguistic programming, and being a linguist and specializing in nonverbal communication. I began to put some puzzle pieces together because what started happening is deaf and hard of hearing people started coming to me wanting the benefits of this type of healing. And in my training as a hypnotist, it's like, okay, well, the first thing we do is put them through the ground, put them in trance, right? Put them down to the ground in trance. And I had a dilemma. So once I tell a person, close your eyes, they can hear me for direction, follow my voice. But when I tell a deaf person to close their eyes, communication is completely cut off. So I had a dilemma. So I used the tools I used during my healing process between 2001 and 2008, and I activated a part that is in your blueprint. Science calls it the reticular activating system, but we tend to use it the wrong way. So we want to ask how questions, not why is this always happening to me? We ask how questions. How can I create an easy process that includes people who might be mm, missing one of their 5 senses, such as hearing? How can I create a process? So, over the next several years, this 4-step process emerged. And it was wonderful because my studying in hypnosis and human design and deconditioning and brain waves and entrainment and binaural beats and frequencies, this is what helped me uncover this 4-step mechanism that's already in you. And then once activated and learned, becomes self-directed for self-guidance, self-awareness, self-healing, self-processing, and self-integrating. So a little bit about my design. I already mentioned I'm a 5-1 emotional manifester. My emotion center is my authority in understanding these waves, these emotional waves, and then learning how to use these waves and integrate the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of these waves while releasing the reactions, releasing the beliefs, releasing the programming. These programmings are ideas and beliefs that were handed to us. We didn't come up with them ourselves. They weren't activated within us, they were given to us. So, this is part of the deconditioning process. And so, what we do is we go through the manifestation wheel, and this is the 6 areas of manifestation. One is relationship. We start with the relationship with yourself, right? And then finances, career, all 6 areas. And we go through and we find what's happening in our reality and put a number on it, like on the pain scale. 10, it's creating a lot of pain in our life. 0, it's not creating any pain. So we find those high numbers. And then we just focus in on the number, because what we don't want to do is tell the story of what that trigger is, because it's really not that story. And what I don't want to do, what we don't want to do is activate the nervous system, because this is what therapy does. Therapy focuses on where the problem is. The problem is in conscious and unconscious processing. So when we tell the story, we're triggering the nervous system as if it's happening again, because in conscious and unconscious processing, it doesn't understand that it happened before or it's happening now. So it's just triggering the nervous system again. Have you ever gone to a therapy session? And I know I have. Okay, I'm going to speak from my own experience. I've gone to therapy sessions where it took me a week to recover from the session, because I'm retelling the trigger story. And I realized that it's not the story that is being triggered. It's all of what's going on in the unconscious that I'm holding down and wants to come up and react, wants to be heard, wants to have a voice, wants to process. And so what we tend to do is traumas, experiences that we might label bad, all of these things that we don't want to look at, we suppress them in the unconscious. That's pushing them down below the decks. And this putting them down below the decks requires a lot of energy. It's kind of like holding a beach ball underwater, right? So I'm focused in on holding this beach ball underwater, but life is happening. So my attention is going off into life, and then this beach ball resurfaces in whatever my attention is on in life. So it creates a muddied lens of how I'm perceiving my world. This is really a disservice of therapy, because they go to where the problem is. You cannot fix the problem where the problem is. However, what Dr. Gary Flint discovered and what Dr. John Upledger discovered is there's a part of us. This is the subconscious. So we have to come to an agreement with terms. Conscious is is like the tip of the iceberg. We're only consciously aware of a small percentage of what's actually happening. Then the unconscious. This is like what's happening below the decks of a ship. So consciousness is like the captain. Whatever the captain is focused in on, that's kind of where the boat is going through time and space, right? Any reality transurfers here, right? So the boat is going through time and space. And this is the captain, what he or she is looking at and putting their focus, awareness, and attention on. And we discover through this process that our focus, awareness, and attention is a hot commodity. And marketing knows this. Only a few years ago in marketing, they would tell us that we have 6 seconds to capture our audience. Today in 2024, they're telling us we have less than 3 seconds to capture our audience. This is nonsense, because what it's telling us is we have absolutely no control over our focus, attention, and awareness. So what we do is we train our focus, attention, and awareness consciously. And we do that by whatever's happening in our external world. So we're going to use what's happening in our external world to help us navigate through the deconditioning process. Because as we know, the captain of the ship has stuff going on below the decks. So whatever the captain's focused in on, the stuff going on below the decks are going to light up. This is like applying superstring theory. All of the particles light up related to what the captain is focused in on. But there's a part of us, the subconscious. Some call it the superconscious. Some call it whatever you call it, God, source, whatever this part is. Doesn't matter what you call it. This part sees what conscious awareness is focused in on, and it sees all of the particles lighting up in the superstring below the decks. And the thing about this is all the parts lighting up can be past, present, and future, and genetic, uh, passed down ideas, beliefs, and programming. So all of these parts light up below the deck in the unconscious. This subconscious sees what the captain is looking at and sees all the parts lighting up in perfect order and perfect sequence. What Dr. Gary Flint and what Dr. Obledger found is that this part can be used as an ally. And I apply using language. And I use a pendulum. And I'll get an example of a pendulum. The moonstone. Get an example. There's an example of a pendulum. And so my communication with the subconscious, you want to always use this with kindness and love. And the more kindness and love, I'm getting a big fat yes. The more kindness and love I feel, the more it opens up. So permission to share this information. So I'm getting a big fat yes. Permission to share this information on a subconscious level. Big fat yes. So this tool here, once I get Dani and all her baggage out of the way, right? Because I want to have a nice connection with the subconscious, because there's only one subconscious, right? This toolkit gives me 4 responses. It gives me a yes, show me a no. It gives me a no. It gives me a maybe. And this maybe is a clue that there may be something going on in the unconscious, like a childlike personality that is used to protect. So this maybe that comes up, show me a maybe, thank you. This maybe that comes up is a clue to me that there's someone else in the driver's seat. And so we have to deal with this barrier in a loving, kind way. And then show me a polarized. Thank you. So a polarized, so these are the 4 responses I get from the subconscious. These responses are yes, no, maybe, and polarized. So the maybe shows me that there may be parts that take over the driver's seat in order to protect. And these maybes are dealt with in a very specific way. And then the polarized means that there are 2 beliefs happening at the same time. So an example of 2 beliefs happening within your energy system at the same time. So what I have is a belief spinning in one direction that says, I manifest all the money in my checking account. I manifest $10,000 a month. I manifest all of this. So we have an affirmation that is becoming a belief. But then we have another belief spinning in another direction that says, money doesn't grow on trees. Who do you think you are? You don't deserve to have nice things. You don't deserve to have money. So we have these 2 things canceling out all of your manifestations. We want to deal with these polarized parts within the energy system in a kind, loving way. So all of these parts must agree to the integration work that the subconscious is going to be taught how to do with its own language process. So part of my abstract thesis was that the subconscious has its own language process. And Dr. Gary Flint discovered this language process and how to talk to the subconscious and give it direction so that it can be an ally in this healing process. So this is a 4-step mechanism. And so by activating this success mechanism within you, it's already in you, it's already in your blueprint. and utilizing various techniques and states. And so, for those who don't want to go into hypnotic states and trance, I've discovered waking state hypnosis. And this is a wonderful place. It's a relaxing, opening, releasing space to be. And so, when we do our free workshops, we definitely go into detail on what the process is. And we also have focused and deep programming group work. And this has a nominal fee because we really get into the details. And if you are in a line with that issue, you definitely want to bring your energy in, because you not only heal your unconscious, but also the collective unconscious. This is how powerful activating this mechanism is within one person. Within one person, this mechanism becomes activated and you light up everyone around you. And I truly believe that we are multi-dimensional and polyphasic beings. We have access to many states and many dimensions at once. So there is no need to go into deep hypnotic trance to begin the change work. This is the beauty of waking state hypnosis for integration, because it holds profound, concise, and measurable implications for healing, personal growth, and transformation. So, using focused awareness to reprogram the triggers for greater self awareness and empowered resilience to face life challenges authentically from your energetic blueprint. So, by accessing these deeper layers of the psyche, we can uncover and address unresolved traumas, fears, and limiting beliefs without having to tell the story of it. This is how powerful it is. And this helps unlock hidden limitations that may be holding us back from realizing our full potential, and then fostering this holistic healing process. It goes on automatic drive and integrating the mind's innate capacity for transformation. All right, so reality designers, if you will, press that subscribe button. And I want to know what you loved, and I want to know what you would love more of. And in the meantime, keep being amazing.